Good evening, all. I think everyone given their Uceed exam. Okay, I think you guys are waiting for the official key. So a few minutes ago, I think they had informed that they will be releasing the key only by the 1st of February. Actually, they were having the plans to release it today. Okay, actually, they were having the plans to release it today by 5 o'clock. And I was also eagerly waiting for that particular key. Unfortunately, they changed the date. I don't know why. And I think there may be some, they think that there is some sort of issue in the key. That is my that is my assumption only. So I assume that there is some sort of issue with the key. That is why they were have a plan to change it. So that is why they were waiting for a minimum of a day. So I think they will be coming up with the key by tomorrow. Okay, so anyway, in today we will be mainly focusing on the NAT questions, that is numerical answer questions. That is what I am focusing today. And among one numerical answer question, I am also experienced the same issue. So I think due to that, they may be holding their answer keys. So today we will be focusing mainly on the answer key, which has been their draft answer key will be taking as a reference. And majority that means 99% it's right, but some sort of issues there that we will address it today. So welcome all. After me, Nandini will also be joining here for discussing drawing related questions. So welcome all, and we can start from the first question onwards. What you guys can tell me the number in the chat. Okay, I think we could conduct it like a simple discussion as we already because we usually having. So I'm expecting your answers in the chat. You can put the answers in the chat in the on go. So let's solve this question. So there are a few strips are here. I will be naming these strips. That will be better, I think. So over here, let me name the strips. So this is the first piece, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And I don't know which piece is going to be coming first. So for that, I will be having those 6 pieces. Let me draw one rectangle. My drawing errors will be there. My circle sometimes will move like ellipse. Actually, in this figure, every curves are a part of a circle. Okay. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay. So my drawings may not be sounds good. Everyone familiar with my previous sessions. Okay. I'm not that much good in drawing like you designers. Okay. But somewhat I will also make. So first of all, I need to find strip number 1. That is my first challenge. Okay. Identifying strip number 1 and strip number 1 means first strip and last strip is the first question. So first strip will be my guess it will be having like that. It will be having some plain area on the left. Actually, the first option is not having any kind of plain area. It's already having a discontinuity over here. So let's move to the second one. I could find a plain area. Fine, I'm satisfied with that. So it could be my first piece. So I'm labeling 2 over here. I'm just labeling 2 over here. So I will draw that parts over here too. Okay. The second one, I will be drawing it over here. So the second one, you can find a piece of a circle. Okay. And over here, another piece. So this is how that second one looks like. Comes to the final piece. Now I'm looking for the final piece. The same logic I'm going to follow. I need to have some plain spot on the right side. I need to have some vacant spaces. So as like option, as like the strip 3, I can find a plain area in third one. So I will be going for third one to the last. Okay. So the third one, I will be drawing it like this. Okay. So don't feel bad that my circles, if it is ending not like circles. Actually, I have plans to draw circles. Actually, I'm not having any tuition for drawing. Okay, but my students will have a very what to say that very intensive programs for drawing. We are taking in THiNC for my students, but they are not giving it for me. Okay, so basically, a logical faculty maybe not be, it may not be that much good in these kinds of drawings. There may be from a other part like arithmetic parts we are coming. So we are good with numbers, but not good with the drawings. Okay, we need to have scale, compass, and all those mathematical tools to construct these things. So anyway, so 2 and 3 is finalized. Okay, now the portions in between them is the first question. So I need to have a circle over here. Okay, so I need to have a similar one. I'll be looking for it. I could find it on the 6th piece. Okay, so let me complete that piece. So 6th piece, that is matching. So this will be my first circle, isn't it? This will be my first circle. And coming over to the, already we have taken 2, we have taken 3, and now we are taking 6. Okay, so here a portion of smaller circle, let it be there. Then a piece in between, a piece in between. Okay, then is it over? Taken. Okay, 6th piece is also over. Now let's look for the continuation. I want a small circle over here. That is my requirement. I want a small circle. Where could I find one? I could find it in the 4th piece. Very simply, I could find. So it will be here. So when joining this, I'll be getting another circle. And it is also perfectly fitting. Okay. I initially mentioned that my circles, it's hard to be circles. This is simply freehand drawing I'm taking here. And one more piece, this is the 4th one. One more piece over here. This is also I need to take into account. Okay, taken. Okay. So now 2 pieces only remaining. I think 4 is also taken. 1 and 5. Okay, 1 and 5. So if I observe here, I could correlate it to first one. Okay, first one I think I can consider because some sort of portions. Okay, first one is fine here and this much area. So if I feel something like 5 over here, then I can use this much portion. So that portion circle is complete. And coming over here to the bottom, a very small portion is there. So it will be completing a circle and a small portion over here. So I got complete circles. I got complete circles. What about you guys? Dindi Manoj, very good. And Quiet Line Gaming also. He also given it right. Very good. So let's move for counting the number. First circle, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. Did I miss any smaller circle? This circle I forget. Okay, that was in the 5th piece. That was not a part of anything. It was a complete circle. That was the only complete circle available. So finally, this could be my 7th one. And numerical answer for the first question was simply 7. Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Student, after the NIFT exam, okay, one of my students, after their NIFT exam, called me and told me that, sir, there was a counting question for triangle counting, and the question was very simple, and there was only one component triangles in that question. Okay, there was only one component. There is no hidden questions inside it, or nothing was hidden in that question. That was not that much tricky as what we had expected. Actually, examiner or the person who prepared that question paper was just trying to hypnotize you. Okay, he was trying to hypnotize you like how he just making you believe that there is nothing hidden in this. How he achieved that? He achieved it through the one component triangles like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Easy to find. 12, 13, 14. Everything is clear and loud. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And it was easy to reach up to. 23. Actually, while counting, I just missed one in between. Let me take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. 17 here, 18 here, 19 here, 20, 21, 22, and big one, 23. Then comes the issue. Okay, majority gone for 23. Okay, I just heard it like that. Many of them gone for 23 because they were looking for one component, but a plenty was there, gone for 24. They identified this two component triangle. Okay, there was only one. Keeping this only one, if it is making complex, everything is complex here, then it is not a matter. But one question going complex, or a one figure or one triangle going complex is an issue. Okay, so 24 was the answer for this question. I think it's clear. Second question, the answer was 24. Okay, questions were quite simple. Nothing was much difficult to say in that question. So the next one is also like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, next one is also like a jigsaw puzzle. So here is a 4-digit number. I don't know what is the number is, so I will put 4 dashes. Okay, so as like I mentioned earlier, for jigsaw puzzles, I will go for the left side. Okay, so this is a 2-row one, so I will go for left side, top corner vacant. I could consider that will be as my first one. Okay, so I could place this one or the any other one on the left to top corner. This one on the left to top corner is vacant. Okay, so left to top corner vacant. Any other? Nothing has left top corner vacant, and right top corner vacant for this. This could be my last piece, and these two could be my last piece. Okay, so when I observe these pieces, I could sense it could be the part of 3. Okay, it could be because I know the letters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0 also. Okay, let's have the 0 also. So in this, I can find that these kinds of things are mainly owned by 3. We could sense that because it is getting connected here. So, and it is flat over here. Okay, it is flat over here. So we can guess. Okay, we can guess that it is the part of 3. So 3 is fixed. That is the last letter. So now move on to spotting other letters in between. What we assume to be the first. So this could be the first piece. Okay, this could be the first piece, and one more was here. So actually you guys could find here that these things are moving like when they combined. So this will be coming on the top. Okay, this is coming on the layer 1, and this is coming on the layer 2, because this connection they are meeting at here. Okay, so when we connect it, we will be getting a figure like this. Reverse 3, where you can find reverse 3? You can find the reverse 3 in 8. So you can make that as the first one. So your letter is starting on 8 and your number is ending on the 3. That is the first assumption we make. So few numbers are still there in between. Few numbers are still there in between. We need to find those numbers also. Okay, few numbers are between. So what are they? You can find a portion of 6. Okay, so 6 is a possibility to be here or here. We don't know where exactly it is coming. And after 6, there is a number. And if you observe here, actually this is the part of 3. Okay, actually this is the part of 3 which is coming on the last. So if you observe here, there is some area for placing this particular thing is being given. So this is a part of 3. So 6 is just in front of 3. Okay, this is how we are picking numbers. Unless you just make these kinds of jigsaws in the exam hall like this, and taking all the things and arranging it properly will take plenty of months to solve this question. Okay, or you guys have to use Photoshop, and those things are not available in the exam hall. So the next is 6 is also gone. Now the available numbers are 1, 2, 4, 5, 9, 7, 0. These are the numbers available with us. So let's look into the availability of the letters. So here a portion like this is being given, and over here. So with this, because this is the portion of 6. Sorry, a small net issue happened in between. So that is in front of 6. So over here, we could assume a line at the top is for letter 5 only, or the number 5 only. So when you take these numbers to consideration, so that is how we are getting the number 8563 as per our answer key also. Our answer key also tells the same. Okay, our answer key is also mentioning the same here. It is 8563. So let's try the next question. So let's try the next one. So over here, next is for the number of surfaces. You guys can give a try. I will look for your answers in the chat. Quick. Give a try in the chat. Okay, I think you guys had your efforts. Now I will try. So actually this figure is given like a symmetric one. It's mentioned in the question itself. It is symmetric. So a perspective view of a solid is shown below. The solid is symmetrical. Okay, so we don't need to count all the sides. This side as well as this side are identical. This side as well as this side are identical. So just count from here. So over here, how many? 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one. This is the 5th one. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, This is 11. This is 12. This is 13. Okay. And over here, this could be 14. This could be 15. This could be 16. This could be 17. This is 18. This is 19. 20. Okay. 20 pieces are here on this side. Okay. 20 pieces are here. Similarly, here also you could find 20. So 20, 20. Now it is 40. Okay. 20, 20. Now it is 40. Now let's try the other side. At the end, we need to count few more, but just now left and right. Okay. So over here, you could find first one, second one, third, and this you can call fourth. And over here, you can call for this particular area, you can call this as the fifth, sixth. And over here, this is the seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And similarly over here, this could be 13, this could be 14. Did we miss any surfaces? First one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, and from there onwards coming up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to the out, 13 and 14. So this side we have 14. So 14 and over here another 14. So 14 and 14, you can go 8. Okay, now it is like 68. We just reached 68. Few more are still there. We need to account for them also. Okay, few more are still there. We need to account them. Like this is the 69th one. This is the 69th one. And comes the next one like from the bottom. From the bottom, you can find the 70th one. Is it over or still few there? Yes, there are few more. We lost in between. This is that larger one we missed. Okay, so you can call this a 71. Okay, you can call this a 71. We didn't. If we included this would be 15. Okay, but we didn't include it. So that is the 71st one. And over here, this is the 72nd one. Okay, so total 72 here. Total 72 here. So usual, we will be looking for these kinds of smaller surfaces. When these kinds of questions come, give priority to the symmetry. If you're going for counting all the 72, it is difficult. So cut the figure like this. Okay, cut the figure like this and calculate. That will be better. So 72 is the right answer. Shall we move on to the next? Your next question is over here. Try this. The perspective view of a solid object is shown on the left. The object is cut simultaneously along 3 perpendicular planes as shown on the right. How many surfaces will be resulting piece have in total? That is the sum of the surfaces of all pieces. That is what I want. So you can put your responses in the chat over here. By 8:40 tomorrow, 8:40 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, we have a curiosity session. Hope everyone familiar with our curiosity sessions. So we are introducing it for Thursday also tomorrow from onwards. So 8:40 you could expect curiosity in our channel. So those who haven't subscribed, they can subscribe our channel and you can get familiar with new questions. Okay, 1 or 2 questions a day learning newly will add up to your upcoming Uceed exams in the upcoming years. Those who are preparing for the 2025, it will be an added bonus for them, the curiosity sessions. And we will be solving this question right now. So for the annotated copies of the sessions which we are happening over here in the YouTube, you can join our community in the WhatsApp, and you can find our number in the chats. So you can join our community by contacting the coordinators over here. So solve this question. The perspective view of a solid object is shown on the left. The object is cut simultaneously along three perpendicular planes as shown have in total. That is sum of the surfaces being asked in this question. So over here, I'm going to make a cut in the horizontal direction. Then next step is making a cut like this. Okay, so when we may perform these operations, okay, when we perform the first operation, we will be getting a cone. We will be getting a cone like this. Okay, we will be getting it like a cone, and a portion of truncated cone is also available. Okay, truncated cone will be looking like this. So this is the thing which you need to imagine. Truncated piece will be coming like this. I'm just talking about this cone piece only, not the base. Okay, let the base be there. So I'm just talking about this. So when these kinds of cut, now we are going to cut it into 4 pieces. Okay, so now we are going to cut this into 4 pieces. Let me use another ink. So over here, I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. So one among the pieces, I'm talking about, just imagine, one among the pieces will be having like a triangle shaped thing. Okay, there will be 2 triangular shaped pieces plus 1 curved. Okay, 2 triangle like pieces, 1 curved piece, and plus 1 like the cake like sector like piece. Okay, so this is the things which is available to us. That means for a single piece is giving you 4 surfaces. Okay, so 4 surfaces will be there in a single piece. So total surface in this figure will be like 4 into 4, because we just cut it into 4 pieces. So that is equal to 16. Keep the 16 aside. We will come back to that 16 later. Now comes to this one. We are also going to cut this also. Okay, so now we are getting a portion of the truncated pyramid over here. So we are getting a portion. We are getting a portion like this, and it will be extended downward. So we are getting a cake piece like this. So over here, it is having 1 top surface and 1 bottom surface. So 2. Okay. Then 1 surface over here in this direction, 3. 1 surface over here. So you can solve it in the question figure itself, 4th one. And you need to think about the curved surface given, 5th one. This is the 6th one. And this is the 7th one. Okay, so 7 surfaces we had already found. So the curved one and the top surface, that is the first one. Curved one is the second one. This is a third one on one edge and 4th one on the other edge. Then 5th one here, 6th one here, and over here. Eighth one over here, this platform. Okay, this platform we need to consider. That is the 8th one. So total 8 pieces. Okay, I will count once again for you. I'll count once again. So each piece, we need to think about each pieces. So over here, this is the first piece. This is the second piece. Actually, we need to find 4 pieces from this particular thing only. We can find 4 pieces. And over here, the curve cost third one, and top of that, this is the fourth one. Okay, 3, 4. So this 3 is for this curve only. Okay, and you can have the surface number 5 for this platform like piece. Okay, 5 is there. Then you can go for this side. This is the 7th side. Sorry, this is the 6th side, and this is the 7th side. And there is one from the bottom also available opposite of 4, that is 8. So this piece is having 8. Total how many pieces? Total how many pieces? 4 pieces we are having. This piece is having 8. So that is 32. Add it with 16. 16 plus 32. You will be getting the 48. Okay, so 48 is the right answer. 48 is the right answer. So let's move on to the next question. A tricky question. A tricky question happened in Uceed this year. This is the, as per my view, this is the most tricky question happened. Okay, many of you maybe not thinking about what is tricky in this question. They didn't focus. Let me zoom it. The question, the tricky thing is these kinds of lines. Number of these lines were played a crucial role in identifying right pieces. Okay, because pairs should match. Okay, they need to be look alike, left as well as right. So assume this is a left. Okay, how many stripes here? One. I marked L7. So next, similarly, just count for the others also. That is what we are going to do now. So a small network issue happened in between. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, fine. Over here, just give importance for counting the stripes also. Let's go for the next shoe from the green. I'm looking for green shoes only now. Green shoe, next shoe. This is also towards left. So left and left cannot be pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is left 6. Okay, I'm just writing the model name. Assume like that. So this is for the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is right 7. Okay. For the green, L7 and R7. For the green, L7, R7. They will be pair in green. Any other greens? Yeah, one more. Green is over here. This is for the right. Okay, this is for the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is R6. Okay. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is R7. Okay, this is R7. So we have an L6 and R6 for the green. Okay, so they could match. So we got 2 pairs from green. Now comes to blue. Now we are going to try the blue. So blue over here, also we need to pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is R7. Okay, this is R7. So next to blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is R7. So 2 R7 we have. So we need to have one L7 to match it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have an L7. So R7, L7 from blue. Any other blues? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is L5. We don't have an R5, so we can't use these. Okay, we can't use this. So only one from the blue. Next, we are moving to the next color, the purple like thing over here. This is left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is left 7. Okay, this is left 7. And over here, this is going for right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is right 5. They can't pair. And over here, this is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is right 7. We have a left 7 and right 7. We could pair them. Okay. And from the purple side, right 7 and left 7, another pair. We are getting another pair from purple color. That is also 1, because over here, this is also right. Even I don't need to count because right, not suitable. So total 4, the numerical answer, 4 is the right answer. So whenever you see questions comes, when you feel it like, oh, it's quite simple, nothing in this. Okay, at that time, you need to think once. There may be a trap. They are famous for making traps. So these kinds of counting stripes also made important in these kinds of questions. Okay, they are not given it simply, not given it for design. I mentioned it plenty of time in my classes. Even some mechanical system questions was there. Okay, at that time they were asking about the weight of the fish. At that time, some striations like this was given in the road provided in that question. Okay, I think in 2022 or 2021 a question happened from mechanical system. They were just given the a black fish was given, and the weight of the black fish they had given like 5 grams, and at the end there was another set of striations, and they need to find the weight of a red fish or the blue one. There was a question in that time. Everyone, my students think that like in my offline sessions when I discuss this question, they will not much give what importance to these kinds of striations, but they are for the equal division of length was given. So be careful. Each and everything in the question paper is important. This was given by me itself for the better understanding of this question. This is a 5-second solvable question. Okay, so this question is about 12 pentagons and 20 hexagons. So a similar ball I had taken over here for your better understanding. This is a pentagon. See, this pentagon is sharing all the edges, all the vertices with the next hexagon. Okay, if you take the case of a hexagon, this hexagon, this is sharing with this pentagon, this side is sharing with this pentagon, this edge is sharing with, this vertices is sharing with this pentagon, this vertices is with this pentagon, this vertices is with the other pentagon. Okay, so all the vertices of the hexagon, at the end there will be a pentagon. Okay, so to be frank, hexagons are not having, they are individual vertices. They all have shared vertices. Okay, so since it is shared with the pentagon, we don't need to count all the hexagons. We only need to bother about these pentagons. Okay, so pentagons will not they are sharing it like this. So we only need to, because they are the less number, so we only need to focus on pentagons only, not on hexagon, because pentagon is having 5 vertices. All the 5 vertices are shared with hexagons every time. All the vertices of the pentagons are shared with the hexagon all the times. So we only need to bother about these pentagons. 5 vertices per pentagon, total 12 pentagons, so 60 vertices. Whenever a similar question comes, don't bother about even imagining a ball. Directly go. Okay, so it is simply 60. For your better understanding, I included this figure. Actually, it was not in the question paper. And similar question was repeating from year by year. And next question is an interesting one. So a vehicle with a wheel arrangement is shown in figure. So this vehicle is traveling along a circular path as shown in the figure. 2. The wheels do not change their orientation while moving along the circular path. The wheels do not change their orientation. Okay, fine. Shows the location. So figure 2 shows the location of the centers of the wheel. Let me zoom it. Okay. The distance between the centers of the wheel 3 and wheel 2. Distance between the centers of the wheel 3 and wheel 2 is being given. So let me mark it here. Centers of the wheel 3 and wheel 2 is given here. Centers of the wheel 3 and wheel 2 is given. It is 170. Okay. It is 170. Next. Distance between wheel 1 and wheel 2 is also given. Distance between wheel 1 and wheel 2 is also given. What is that distance? Wheel 1 and wheel 2? It is 180. Okay, let me connect wheel 3 and wheel 1 and wheel 4. Okay. So for solving this question, I'm connecting centers of wheel 1 and wheel 4. So I just got a triangle here. Okay, I just got a triangle here. Let me highlight my triangle. This is a triangle which I got here. Okay, this is having some serious implications in this question. So we know that this is 170. So here it is 85. Here it is 85. I'm unknown about this distance. Okay, I'm actually unknown about this particular distance. Okay, keep that figure there. Now comes to this figure. The radius of the circular path followed by wheel 2. We know that this is the wheel 2. This is the wheel 2. Is 525 centimeter. Okay, actually that circular path is not given. This is the path followed by the wheel 1. This is the path followed by wheel 1. It is given. But path followed by wheel 2 is not given. So assume this is the center. And let me make one more circle. Okay. Let me make one more circle. So now we have a set of consecutive circles here. So the second consecutive circle is also drawn. And coming over to here, the information provided in the question is like that. This is 525 centimeter. Okay, this is 525 centimeter. What we need to know in this question, we need to know actually over here, we could extend this up to here. Okay, we know that this is 85 centimeter, and from here to here, this length is unknown to us. I'll use other color like this. So this length is unknown to us. If we know this length, then we can find the radius. How we will find the radius? This is the radius. Okay, so this is the radius of the path followed by wheel 1. So this is the radius of the path followed by wheel 1. So now the question starts. This is the basic understanding of the question. Okay, we will step by step understand what the question is. What is the first demand? First demand is to find this particular length. For what? For using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so we know that this is 525 plus 85, that is equal to 610. Okay, 525 plus 85, that is equal to 610. Now coming over to this particular 610, keep that 610 there. We will come back to that. So we don't know this particular length. Use Pythagoras theorem. This is right angle. So 180 square minus 85 square. Take the root. Okay. Some complex calculations. Okay, 18. We know that square of 18, that is 324. Give 2 zeros. Okay. Similarly, we need to multiply for 85. 85 square, that will be like 7225. Okay. So regarding squares and square roots, shortcuts, I will take a session later. in this channel. So you can subscribe this channel and wait for that sessions. Those who are preparing for the next year, 158.66. Okay. So over over here, the difference over here is like 32400 minus 7225, that is 25175. If you take the root, you will be getting it like 158.66. Okay, so shortcut method I will be taking in another session later, because the length of this session will be too long if I was considering those areas. Okay, so over here we got that this is like you can take it like 158.6 or simply 158, because the answers in a very long range it is given. So this is 158. Okay, now we can just move on to, you can take it like 158, 159. It will not make much changes in the answer. It will be, answer will be in your range. So over here, now the length of this portion, radius, what we are going to find? It will be like, that is a hypotenuse here. So square of 610 plus square of 158, that will be like 372100 plus 24964. That is equal to 397064. If you take the root for this, it will be ending like 630.130. Okay, so the answer is in a very huge range. It is being given, I think from 615 to 645, or let me take you to the key. So the range, you can find it here, 615 to 645. Anything if you give, you will be getting all the credit. Okay, now continue. So the right answer will be somewhat in this range, 615 to 645. Okay, I think that is as per the key, 615 to 645. We just reached 630. If it is 640 or 644, enough, you will get marked. Okay, don't worry. Now the next question. It was a simple one, actually. It was a simple one. You guys can try. Okay, this was a simple question. You guys could try. So over here, we know the perimeter of the circle. That is 2 pi r. What is a perimeter? It is like 18.85. That is equal to 2 pi r. Okay, so take pi is equal to 3.14. So from here, r is equal to 18.85 divided by 2 into 3.14. Okay, 2 into 3.14. So that is equal to 18.85 divided by 2 into 3.14. That is somewhat equal to 3.0000 something is there. So it is equal to 3. Okay, because 2.3 2 into 3, that is 16. 18 by 6, that is simply 3. Okay, so some decimal issues will be there. Anyway, take it like 3. So over here, it will be like 3.001 or something. Okay, you can assume to be 3. So now you just focus over here. This is an equilateral triangle. Okay, this is an equilateral triangle. We only need to find the area of this equilateral triangle. Assume this is the center of the circle. Okay, assume this is the center of the circle. This length will be 3. Okay, this length will be 3. So over here too, actually this triangle and this triangle will be having equal area. Okay, because this figure is a hexagon itself. So the area of the 6 triangles will be equal to the area of that hexagon also. So this area as well as the area asked in the question are same. So keeping that in mind, we can solve the question. So this is 3. Okay, this is 3. So if this side is A, then this side also will be A. Okay, this side is A, then this side also will be A. Similarly, this side is A by 2. Okay, this side is A by 2 because half. Okay, So A by 2, since they are equilateral triangles, one side is A, so this is A by 2. So we are going to find what is A. We know that area of an equilateral triangle will be equal to root 3 by 4 A square. So from here, we are going to directly find what the A square is. So according to Pythagoras theorem, from this figure, let me take that triangle. This is A, this is 3, this is A by 2. So according to Pythagoras theorem, A square minus A square by 4, that is A square minus A by 2 the whole square equal to 3. So it will be equal to 3 square. So 3 by 4 A square equal to 9. So A square equal to 9 into 4 by 3. Okay. So that is a case of A square. Just take it to the area of equilateral triangle. So root 3 by 4 into 9 into 4 by 3. Now the things are clear. Okay. So 4 and 4 cancelled, and 3 and 3, 3 and 9 cancel. So answer is 3 root 3. If you find the value of 3 root 3, your answer is ready. 3 into 1.732. Okay, it is something like 5.19. Okay, it's something like 5.19, and the answer is also in a range 5 to 5.35. Okay, they know exactly where the answer is. That is why this very small range. Okay, so 5 to 5.35. Anyway, we are 5.19. We will be definitely reaching the answer. So 5.19. Let's move to the next point. Next question. Simple question it is. A wooden block of dimension 10 into 20 into 30. Okay. A wooden block of dimension 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter, and 30 centimeter is being cut into equal sized planks. The cut planks are stacked one above the other. Okay, the cut planks are stacked one above the other. So we want a height of 100 centimeter. Then what is the volume of each plank in centimeter cube? What is a plank provided here? So this is a plank provided. Okay, so little bit more thickness, I think we need to give. So this is the plank with us. This side is 30, this side is 10, and this side could be 20. Okay, this is the plank with us. So we need to cut. Actually, we want it 100. Okay, so 100, I will have a 30. 30, 30, 30, 10. With 4 planks, I can make it 100. This is the logic with me. Okay, my logic is like that. With 4 planks, I could make 30. So I will make that 30 side. Okay, that means the side with the 30 will be standing like this. That is what my plan is. Okay, so I will make 30 stands like this, another 30. One more 30 will be like this. Okay, I will add one more 30 here. One more 30 like this. So 3 30s, this is 90, and one portion for the 10. So my answer 100 is ready. So I need to have 4 pieces. How will I cut? In which direction I will cut? I will cut in this direction. How many pieces I want? I want 4 pieces. I will cut 4 pieces in this direction. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. What is the length? 20 by 4. Each piece is having 5. Okay, each piece is having 5 centimeter. Let me redraw it. This is how each piece looks like. This is how each piece over there looks like. Okay. So 10, 30, and 5. So what is the volume? What is the equation for volume? Length into breadth into height. Okay, length into breadth into height. That is 10 into 30 into 1500, and there was no range in the question. They were asking for exact numbers. So 1500 was the answer. So let's move on to the next question. So shown below are two stacked paper cups and a box with their dimensions if stacking is allowed. What is the maximum number of cups that can be stored in the box without deforming the cups? Actually, the time provided to me also is about to end. So we will be in a quickie over here. So over here, we need to fill maximum cups. So this is how much it is. This is 12. Okay. So I'm just placing 3 cups. Okay. So I'm just placing 3 cups and the back side of the cup will be looks like this. So total 4 centimeter. Okay. So 4 centimeter gone. My cups are like this. So my cups 4 centimeter occupied by the first cups. Okay. So 3 cups I just placed. So remaining, how much centimeters are remaining still? The remaining is 12 centimeter. Okay. From here, I can find that this is only 0.5. Okay. So when I place the second cup, I will be only taking 0.5 centimeter more. So 12 centimeter is here and 0.5 centimeter is which I am going to take. So I can fill 24 cups here. Okay. 24 cups in one column. So how many columns here? 24 into 3. So that is like 72. Okay. Plus 73, 74, and 75. So 3 more cups we need to add. 75, that was the numerical answer, and it is given in your key also. So 75 is the right answer. Let's move on to the next question. So this question, this is a question where I am expecting some issues. Okay, this is where I am expecting some issues. I will tell you how it is, because the question is asking about the centers of the spheres coincide with the corners of the tetrahedron. What is the radius of the largest sphere? Okay, so the question is asking about radius of the largest sphere that can be accommodated. Okay, so radius of the largest sphere that can be accommodated. So if I accommodate the largest sphere, okay, because one sphere is like this, so this is taking already 40. Okay, so if the question was radius instead of radius, if it was diameter, it could be more handy to solve. Okay, because 20 centimeter diameter, sorry, 20 centimeter radius will not make any issue in this question. We could simply solve it. So over here, the height of this particular one is a root 6 by 3. Okay, so the height of the tetrahedron, that is this long line. This is the equation for finding the height. A is the one side. Okay, A is the one side. So that is a root 6 by 3. That is the equation is used to find. So when I teaching you guys about the centroid, properties of the centroid. So centroid divides the median in the ratio 2:1. Centroid divides median in the ratio 2:1. Okay, this is for these kinds of figures. Centroid will divide it in the ratio 2:1. So centroid will act as the center of these kind of spheres, which is giving maximum radius or maximum volume. The centroid will acting as the center point. So centroid is dividing into 2:1, means the distance from here to here. That means the radius will be 1/3 of a root 6 by 3. Okay, so that is the equation for finding the radius. This is the equation used. So here we can substitute 1/3 over here. 1/3 into 1/3, it will be 9. And A, that is 120. It is given in the question, 120 centimeter. Okay, and root 6, simply root 6 there. And you can solve this. 120 by 9 into root 6. That will be equal to 40 root 6 by 3. And when you solve for this, you will be getting like 32.659. And it is given in the range. Range you can check here. 32.5 to 34.5, and our range of 32.69 is enough. But I am not satisfied. I don't know why, but I am not. Okay, because if this is, okay, the logical issue is over here. If that circle is tracing 32.69 in this direction, then it will be tracing 32.69 in this direction also. Okay, totally this is 97 only. This entire green line is 97.9 or something. Okay, so 32.6 is tracing up to here. When a 40 centimeter circle comes, that means it will be going inside this. That is the issue I am expecting. So I am expecting that the key may be changed, the question may be changed, or they may be anyway. But they can argue that these informations can be considered bogus. Okay, we didn't tell you that anything like there is no need, there it cannot be coincided or anything. So if they are telling that this is not that much important, only this is important here. What is the radius of the largest sphere that can be accommodated within the tetrahedron? Then their answer is right. Okay, they can also argue. Okay, anyway, keep it reserved for them. Anyway, I will be making a separate video later once after the key is being released by them. Okay, with proper changes. If find record, okay, if find record, I will address it later. Anyway, keep it reserved. Okay, fine. So over here in this question. So it's being given a regular dice, and over here I'm just finding 6. So 5 and 2 are opposite, 4 and 3 are opposite, 6 and 1 are opposite, being regular dice. Okay, fine. It is like, so we want, by adding the numbers of the visible surfaces from all the angles, we want the maximum value. Okay, what we want? We want the maximum value. So definitely we will be putting maximum value. We will give priority to maximum value. If I put 6 here, 1 will be going out. Okay, actually in that particular dice, this is the first one, only 1 is hidden. Okay, only 1 is hidden. That means, what is the sum? 7, 14, 21. Out of the 21, okay, out of the 21, 1 is missing. So you could take the sum as 20. Okay, you could take the sum as 20 in the first one. Okay, is it right? 5 plus 2, 7, 7, and 7. So 1 is hidden in the first one. Okay, 1 is hidden in the first one. So 20. Now comes to the next one. Actually, how many surfaces are going to be hidden? 2 surfaces. Okay, so I wish it to be minimum numbers. Okay, that is my wish. So I will make 2 and 3 hidden. Sorry, 2 and 1 hidden. So I will place 6 here. Okay, obviously 5 comes here. Okay, so 5 comes here and 4 comes here. I will place it in that order. So since 6, 5, 4 comes here, and opposite of 5 as well as opposite of 6 is gone hidden. So 3 numbers, that means 21 minus the value 3 is hidden. That means 2 plus 1, 3 is hidden. So it is 18 only. Okay, how many are like this? 1 is here, second one is here, third one is here, fourth one is here. So you can go for 4 18s. Okay, you can go for simply 4 18s. You can try. So that is 4 18s. Next is we need to talk about this particular one. Okay, this particular one, it can be 6, and this could be 4, and this could be 5, and the other thing is hidden here. So that is 15. Okay, actually 10 cubes in this particular figure. 2, 4, 6. We need to address other 4 over here. Okay, they are coming in the rear side. So on the rear side, here, this is the only one surface visible for this particular one. So 6. Okay, so I will take those 6s here. The next one is these 2 corner pieces. Okay, these 2 corner pieces. So I will make 6 and 5 visible in this. Okay, I will make 6 and 5 visible in this. So 11. So now if you take the sum, so this is altogether 36 into 2, 72. 72 plus 20, 92. 92 plus 15. 92 plus 15, that is 107. 107 plus 12, 22. That is 34. That is 141. Okay. So 141 is the answer. Let's check over here. Yes, it is 141.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Chandu sir, for the amazing session so far. Even I was very invested towards the end, the last question. Even I started doodling on my sheet to figure out what's going on because even I remember back when I was a student trying to crack UC, it's always that one last question that everyone's very frustrated about, and it's that one puzzle that everyone's trying to solve. It's been a pattern, it's been a trend, and it's really interesting to see that UCEED's sticking to their ways, sticking to their patterns. And honestly, that just makes things easier for us as people who are trying to crack this exam and help students crack this exam for years to come in the future as well. So, after this very intense session, let's cool off a little bit and let's try to attempt the more creative side of things, the more, let's say, not so arithmetical side of things, and cool off a little bit after this intense session. So, I will be taking over the drawing part of the paper, and just a slight disclaimer, just because it is the artsy side of the UC paper does not mean that it's going to be easy. It's equally tough and it's equally challenging in its own unique way, right? So let's try to crack the paper. Let me just share my screen. um, okay, sorry for that. I hope my screen is visible right now. All right, everyone. So let's get started. All right. So I hope my screen is visible. Again, thank you so much, Chandu sir, for the amazing session. And we will be officially moving to the drawing part of the paper. And you guys are actually quite lucky, back a couple, 4, 5 years ago, I didn't have the kind of edge over trying to crack UC, because their testing of your drawing side, your visualization side, your communication through lines and communication through drawing was not really tested. But it's a great thing that they've introduced this now. And yeah, so just before we jump in, a short intro about me. So I'm Nandini Saiju, and currently I'm working as a industrial slash UI/UX slash interaction designer. So that means that I work with physical products as well as digital products. So overall, product designer, you know and I graduated from NID AP, a proud graduate from NID Andhra Pradesh. And so, yeah, let's jump into it. Enough about me. All right. So, there were two questions mainly in part B, right? So, we have the drawing part, and we have two questions, each of equal weightage, I suppose. And they clearly specify how to crack this exam, how to crack, I mean, how to kind of, you know, get the maximum leverage, how to get grades. The marking scheme is literally part of your what do we say, of your question, which makes things a lot more easier for us, right? So let's jump into this. It says on a Sunday morning, 5-year-old Geet and her grandmother father are cleaning their old garage. It is a big garage with open windows near the ceiling. So it's quite descriptive on how we approach the question. We have the characters, the people, we have the setting, we have a little bit more description. There's a little girl, there's a grandmother, there's her father. They're all a family. They're in a garage, large open windows. So what we can interpret from that is that it is going to be a drawing with good lighting, right? So that's how you translate it, where before you start sketching, you're obviously going to thumbnail, right? So in your thumbnails, you are going to add a strong element of light, and because it's a large ceiling window, there's going to be harsh light and shadow. So that's something that you can consider while translating it into your sketch. All right. And yeah, just forgot to mention, if you guys have any questions, feel free to write it in the live chat. I am constantly glancing down at it so that I can interact with whoever's watching and respond to you guys as well. All right. So the father is cleaning the cobwebs. The grandmother, while cleaning, finds her old guitar which she used to play during her college days. She gets excited and starts playing it as Heath starts dancing around. So over here, we are understanding the postures, or like what the people are doing, right? So the grandmother is playing a guitar, the little girl is dancing, the father is cleaning the cobwebs. So cobwebs are usually placed on the top portion of, it's the basically the spider webs, right? So let's just visualize the father with like a long broom trying to reach the cobweb, something like that, and the grandma's probably seated somewhere. Little Geet is somewhere nearby and she's probably like twirling around or doing something fun. And then it ends with the garage also has a lot of old memories of Keith's sporty grandmother and her studious father, right? So you obviously have to add these visual cues. So I don't know if you guys have like seen those films where they add like a pen or like a particular object to show kind of to into the setting to say something about the character. So that's what we're trying to do here. We'll add like a cupboard to talk about how the dad is or was a bookworm or something like that, right? And yeah, Geet's school friend stands at the door of the garage watching the whole scene. So obviously there is a POV involved. The POV is Geet's school friend. So it's obviously going to be another 5-year-old little girl or a 5-year-old little boy, and they're watching Geet through the door. So this kid just entered, and this is what's going on. Draw the scenario from a friend's point of view. All right. So, did you guys realize how I've broken this question down into not just what is being said face front, or but also what they are expecting us to portray, right? So that's how we have to look at these questions, and I'm pretty sure that's how a lot of you guys out there attempted this as well, right? So let's try to draw this scenario. Use only pencil, do not use colors. Perspective, proportion, composition, observation, imagination, quality of sketch, attention to detail. Right. So because I am not writing the Uceed, I just did my own quick version of this, right? Just to kind of show you guys what it could mean and what it could translate to. There could be like a gazillion ideations for this. The same text, copy paste it into Mid Journey, right, or Dali, and you guys will get amazing results, right? That's one easy way to see what all are the iterations, what all are the variations to this. And one important thing, besides the perspective, quality of sketch, and the fact whether there's no smudging or whatever, is to make sure that you guys try to do something that's a little beyond the ordinary, right? So, because most people, when they say garage, they will obviously build a rectangular space, maybe it's one point perspective, obviously, but most students wouldn't think of some sort of interior design element or like a character design element. Over here I've given they said it's going to have tall ceiling lights, so I turned the whole roof into a sunroof, right? So not a lot of people think about that, and you guys can get brownie points for thinking more in that unique direction. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to portray. But yeah, this is just a rough, quick sketch. Again, I've used color and all of that just to kind of show you guys what the potential could look like. All right. So I'm going to talk about a few fundamentals when trying to attempt these questions, because this is a certain type of question where they're going to evaluate you based on your perception of space, your perception of dimension, as in the humans and their proportions compared to objects you're going to place in the space, like a cupboard or a chair or some furniture, right? And how are you going to space them out? Another thing that they are going to evaluate you based on, even though they don't say it up front, is the composition. So composition is a very overused term, but really what it means is how to place things. Really, in this context, what it means is how to place things in a blank space, let it be a blank paper or a three-dimensional space or something even more, to kind of bring out the emphasis or bring out a particular, let's say, a particular characteristic. Maybe it's motion, maybe it's emphasis, maybe it's light and shadow, right? Maybe it's balance. So these will be called the elements of composition. You guys can search it up. It's quite helpful. It's like a quick tool for us to assess and to try to figure out what goes where. So to keep it in simple words, I just call it blocking out the space. Once I quickly sketch the perspective lines, I'll just draw like a globe over there, be like, okay, this is the little girl, this is the grandma, this is the garage, this is where the cycle goes, and then you can just, because it's a light pencil, you can move things around and try to figure out if you guys can make it a little more composed, a little more pleasing to the eye, and the emphasis is going on the right elements. The emphasis is going on Keith and how everyone is very lively, and then there's the secondary things, the things that you look at, you know second gaze. So that will be the football, that will be the things to show grandma's sporty old life, that will be the bookshelf or all those kind of things, right? So that's the, let's call it, visual hierarchy of things, right? And that's how you approach it. This is the first step in approaching it after breaking down the question. So over here again, obviously you guys are not going to be sketching on the main sheet that is provided. You guys will be thumbnailing on rough sheets and trying to figure out what goes where, how should it look like, should it even look like this, right? And of course, especially for this one question, one very important element is light. And you guys can go with a very strong dual tone and harsh light to bring out the life into this environment. So you can see this in a lot of environment artists. They do this a lot of environment artists are, when I say environment artists, they're not artists that are into environmentalism. Maybe they are, but my point is those are artists that work with gaming or VFX, and their job mainly is to set people in environments and figure out what goes where, the lighting, the setting, the tone, the mood, everything, etc. So you guys can follow a lot of environment artists to understand a little more about this. but light plays a crucial role, right? And a lot of us oversee this, and a lot of us overdo this. And I've seen a lot of students over the past couple of years who have completely abused that piece of paper with their graphite pencils or their brush pens. So be very moderate about it, but also use this, use light as a tool and use it in your advantage to show that, hey, I know how to communicate through lights and shadows. And it does not always have to be gradients. If you look at this example over here, it's a strong dual tone. There is no gradient, like how when we were little kids, someone in our family brought us one of those learn pencil shading little textbooks, and in that you start with 6B and then go to 5B, 4B, and then very light, and you learn how to do gradients. But in certain art styles, you don't need gradients. Even in real life, sometimes it's just day and light. As you can see over here, it's just the gray and then the lighter gray, right? So this kind of play on light can be very useful. So you guys can look into this, especially in this particular question. That's why I brought it up over here. All right, moving on. This is quite important because over here they talk about the point of view. So in some questions, it's going to be generic. In some questions, it is not. It is going to be in the point of view of a little kid or a worm or a bird, right? So you guys will have to learn to adjust it accordingly. And especially when it comes to people, you guys have to make sure that the eye level is always on point. Sometimes they say little kid, so you always have to draw it from a low angle, a little bit at least. You guys don't need to exaggerate it. And sometimes if you say old man or a tall man, right? So you guys will have to adjust accordingly. So over here, it's in this example, it's obviously a little bit taller person who is seated and is trying to sketch. Their sketchbook is open, right? So POV is something that you guys cannot overlook, and that is why the first word of the question, where they name the person and named the age and said that this is who is, and then in the end they said that it is this person's friend. So you'll have to associate and be like, okay, this is probably another 5-year-old girl, and you have to draw it in that perspective. So these are the things where you will be rewarded and you will be able to crack it in a more efficient manner, especially in these kind of questions where everything seems very open ended, but it is not really that open ended. You will just have to read the question once, twice, thrice, annotate the important points to kind of understand and break it down. And yes, one thing I forgot to mention that I say in every class is to please take a HH or a very light HB pencil and annotate the question so that you guys do not miss out on a single point. Right, the first time I read it, I skipped out on the soccer ball, and then I think the second or third time I saw it. So it can happen to anyone. So please annotate the question as well. Right. And then you guys, then our next thing is the level of detail, right? So you guys do not have to go into hyper realism when it comes to detail, because again, how you play with visual hierarchy is basically, there is things that are let's say that I want my attention to go into the little girl and everything else is blurred out, right? So I will detail things accordingly. So if you look at this example, uh, the the fan, the table fan, and the things on the table are having a lot of emphasis. But if you look at the sticky notes, there's not much emphasis, right? So there's not much detail there. It's just like, the less important the thing is, the more blurred out it is, or the more like rounded off it is. That is the idea. And this honestly will help you save a lot of time, especially because this is a competitive time timed environment where you will have to produce results in a very short period of time, right? So put maximum details on the things that you guys want people to look at, but don't skip out on adding more things. But you guys don't need to specifically make it extremely detailed. We will circle back to this point again. So let me just get to this, right? So again, it's just an extension of my previous point, where do we go into realism or do we stick with something stylized? So the golden zone is somewhere in the middle, where yes, the proportions are realistic, things are not too cartoony, right? But at the same time, we are not going to shade it, extremely shade it at least. We are not going to go into textures, we are not going to go into a lot of coloring, a little bit of hatching here and there, keep things very clean, let people see. But the main point here is to communicate, right? I can communicate that there's a lot of bottles, but if you look here, just like what I said earlier, there is not much detail. But if you look here, there is a lot of detail, because the artist wants your eyes to go here. And these are all secondary things. These are, I don't even know if this is a globe or a paperweight, right? But that's pretty much how you work with visual hierarchy, right? So try to stick to this kind of, like what I'm showing on the screen, this kind of, like, go, let's call it the Goldilocks band of things, right? So this is pretty much what we are trying to achieve. So let's see how. All right, again, another thing is that people get scared when there's a lot of detail and there's perspective involved, right? And most of these sketches, they are so fixated, most of the students out there are so fixated on getting the perspective lines right. They, and the biggest mistake they do is, especially in 2 point perspective, they may put the focus points too close to each other, and then we get an exaggerated kind of image, right? Rather, over here, the hack is to try to stick to a 1 point perspective, right? It's easier and it's quicker, and you can spend more time on the quality of the sketch rather than getting the technicalities right. But again, if you guys are confident enough to go for something that is 2 point, please keep the vanishing points as far away as possible. And you guys have to be in that confidence level to kind of pick it up there and be at a place where you guys are able to, um, let's say, not make it exaggerated. So if you look here, it is in perspective. If you trace any of the lines, they will be coming properly, but over here, nothing looks exaggerated. So this is why it happens to a lot of us, because we try to put the dots inside the paper, but honestly, the vanishing points, the further away, the better, the more realistic it looks, because in real life, perspective is just an illusion of our brain's perception of the world, right? Whew, that was a lot of big words. Huh. So that's pretty much how it works, right? But one important thing is, even if the perspective lines are off by a slight degree, it's all right. But the important point here is to get the architecture right, right? So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, let's say there is a slope and there is a beam on top. And beams are something that always come in these kind of questions. We will always have to draw one kind of complicated surface or the other. So just make sure that this is facing down and this is facing parallel to the wall. And again, the other surface is going the right way. And just make sure that the windows are in the right height for a human. And the tables are not too low, right? So you guys, there's a lot of tools to kind of figure out. You just draw one line and say, okay, this is the height of an average human that's going to be on the scene, and then mark it off. Okay, this is how this, obviously, use that as a guide, reference guide. Be like, okay, this is how the windows are going to be, this is how tall the cupboards are going to be, right? So a lot of rule of thumb kind of hacks you guys can learn. But obviously, all of this will not be captured over one video. You guys will have to do like thousands of sketches, and literally thousands, so that you guys can pull it off. So, and that's pretty much how I nailed it as well. Because in my first week of college, when I joined NID as a fresher, we were not bullied in the whole typical way how they say, okay, seniors will come and bully you. Rather, our culture was our seniors will come and they'll be like, okay, you guys, let's learn, right? And we used to sit and do 100 sketches, 500 sketches, and it was honestly the most beneficial thing anyone's pushed me to do in my entire life. So big shout out to NID community. But all right, so let's move on. There's all of this, but still it just always feels like something is missing when it comes to scene drawings, environment drawings. So what's the secret sauce? What makes things not a simple perspective sketch, but something that looks like, a screenshot out of a complicated game, right? Or something like that. What makes it interesting? What makes it professional? What elevates it to that next level, right? So what it is quite simple. It's white noise. So what do I mean by white noise? If anybody knows, it's does anybody want to guess in the chat what I mean by that? Did they understand? um, what do you mean by white noise is pretty much there's just a lot of things going on. So if you look at most of these scene drawings, there is 4 to 5 things that is the main things. Maybe it's the character, maybe it's like 2, 3 objects, a piece of furniture, but there are a gazillion things going on in the background in low resolution. So if you look at this example picture, all of these posters are in low resolution. The artist probably took like 2.5 seconds to draw each one of these, right? And there's like a lot of these dingle dangly things going on, fairy lights, just a lot of detail which is not detailed, right? And that is the secret sauce. And a lot of pro artist friends of mine do this, and it was really hard to get this kind of wisdom out of them, but this pretty much does the trick. This elevates your drawing to the next level. So next time if you guys are attempting something like this, or just as an artist you guys are sitting down to draw a scene that is complicated, try to add a lot of details that are not detailed, and just watch your drawing just go up to the next level, right? So that's something interesting that you guys can do, especially in this kind of setting, because you guys, they're evaluating you based on your detail, but you guys don't have time. And most of these sketches, if you look at it, the details are never really detailed, right? So yeah. Let's look at a few examples that I've sourced from this one art school in Busan. So this is again a very exaggerated drawing, and over here you can see that the emphasis is on the toothbrush. So this is why I pull this picture out, because you can see that people are playing with the line thickness. The artist is playing with the line thickness to communicate emphasis. The most furthest away is the wall, and the lightest lines are the wall. The thing that you have to look at the most is the bristles of the brush, the razor. That has the most amount of line thickness. And then secondly, the bucket and everything. So I just put it here to tell you guys this is one thing that you guys can do, is play with line thickness as a tool. Right. So this is another example with a POV. Probably the question was, I am a pencil, you are a pencil sitting on a little girl's desk. She owns makeup, right? Draw it. So if that's the case, then something like this. And the main reason why I put this is because I want to show how they have communicated or shaded and communicated surfaces without really going into a lot of realism per se. So only 1 2 3 things are really shaded in here. Is that one area of emphasis is shaded, and it's not really shading in the whole fine art sense of things. It's very quick hatching to show surfaces, right? So this is the kind of style that, or this is the kind of approach you guys should have, because you guys have to do it quick and guys have to do it well, right? So these are the most ideal types of sketching styles or art styles, because again, this has been the most age old debate when it comes to attempting any of these drawing questions in any of these national level entrance exams. Do we go for realism or do we stick to cartooning? This is what you guys have to stick to. This right over here that you guys see on the screen. Right. Another POV sketch. Again, just a few more. There's not much, it's all repeat, but again, over here, I'd like to show you guys that if I trace back each and every line to the vanishing point over here, it might not completely add up, right? But as an examiner, they are, I'm talking in a very practical sense. As an examiner, they are not sitting with a scale, all right, and they are not going to draw everything. And if you guys have to weigh between the technicality and how neat and how well presented and how well communicated the sketch is, you guys have to make sure that okay, it looks pretty much like it's drawn in perspective, but is it 100% accurate? Maybe not, but it's all right. Let's have that little tolerance gap. That's it's a kind of design jargon that we use, tolerance gap, right? When we're trying to fit a water bottle cap to a water bottle, when we manufacture it, we always have a 0.02 mm difference between the outer dimension of the bottle and the inner dimension of the cap. So that is called the tolerance gap, and it's honestly one of the best mindsets to have if you convert it into a metaphor, and if you have a little bit of tolerance gap for these things, and if you prioritize that, okay, the quality of my sketch should be better, my line quality should be better, the neatness of my paper should be better, and what I represent, what I communicate, the first thing the person looks at the lamp, and then the table, and then last the door is the furthest away. If I have that visual hierarchy coming, that is more important than a student who spends, let's say, 25 minutes out of 40 just drawing perfect perspective guidelines, and then struggling to figure out how to fit everything in this. Because as an artist myself, I know how overwhelming perspective guidelines can be. So rather just try to draw like 4 5 lines as a overall skeleton very lightly with pencil on your sheet, and try to see what you can do with it, right? Obviously, do not jump into the main sheet again without your thumbnails in your rough sheets. I'll keep repeating this, but yeah. Right. This is another POV sketch over here. A little more detail than we've seen, and the lines are a little more organic. But again, the reason that I've added this is the same, right? The main elements or the main things that you want to look at have the most amount of detail, and everything else in the back is white noise. So, this is the most beautiful example I could find for what I'm trying to tell you guys about white noise being the most useful tool, right? All right. So this is again a setting where there's human beings, and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of movement, right? And if you notice, they put it like the horizon line is a little tilted to show dynamicity in the scene, right? If you do this whole same thing, but if you kind of make it, the horizon line is parallel to our eyes, then we wouldn't feel like the person is really moving, if people are really at the go. But over here, the artist has been a little smart about it, tilted the horizon line a little bit just to show that okay, everyone's at the go, this is a dynamic scene, things are moving, right? So this is an interesting thing that you guys can maybe play around with when you're practicing or when you're sketching as well, right? So again, a very beautiful example of light play. So let's skip all of this and go to the last question again. So again, this is second question, equal grades, and this is a product design question. It says a 6-year-old girl. Again, they've started with the user, right? The person is going to school for the first time. Again, we have the environment, right? The school. She needs to carry a lunchbox in her school bag. So we have the object, that is the lunchbox, right? So this technique of breaking things down, it's called AEIOU, right? So you guys can search it up. Basically, you have the user, the environment, the limitation, the problem, and you pretty much pull it out from the question very simply, right? And we have the object, which is the lunchbox. Design a lunchbox for her considering her needs. That is a use case, right? And in your sketch, visually explain the features of your design. So, along with clear labels. So, this is the tricky part because most students do not know how to annotate. They will draw and they will paraphrase, or they will draw and they'll label the wrong things, the unimportant things. Okay, this is a flap, but if you draw an arrow that is going along the motion line of how the flap opens, and then write flap opens, right? It is much better than just pointing at the flap and saying flap, because a hinge can open in like a plethora of ways. So how do you really communicate it, right? So that is where the art of annotation comes into play, right? So the best possible way you guys can learn this is invest time in learning how to draw arrows, how product designers draw arrows, right? And there's thick arrows, there's thin arrows, there's squiggly arrows, and each of those things mean its own thing. And when you pair that with the right words, it can elevate your drawing to the next level, right? So sketch your design, visually explain the features of your design along with clear labels. So mainly you guys are going to you're going to talk about the main features or the main things you've added. Obviously, you're going to talk about if there is any kind of movement or hinge. You guys are going to clearly mention that. And the main thing that most of the people miss out on is CMF. CMF stands for color, material, and finish, right? So basically, what it means is you're going to point at something and be like, this is going to be plastic. Or if something is relevant, the color is relevant. If you're going to say, this is transparent acrylic sheet, right? This is going to be a metal tube. So that's how you communicate, right? That's how you kind of put forward that this is the material, this is what it is, this is how it works, right? So because no matter how good your sketch is, you'd always want to tell them more. You're never satisfied with, okay, this is it, especially when it comes to products, especially when it comes to functional products, right? So that's what we try to do with annotation. So you guys can always like run a cute Pinterest search, say annotated product design sketches. Use these keywords and you guys will learn a whole lot more than whatever I can fit into this very short 1 hour session. All right. Use only pencil. So we have rules here. All right. This is great. Do not use colors. Please, you guys, make sure that you guys go on these guidelines. I know a lot of us are tempted to just, after the pencil sketch, go in there with a micron or a beautiful brush pen and, make things pop. But if they say use only pencil, we're going to have to stick to that. Explain your designs to visuals and short labels. Do not write separate explanations. So, yes, this is what I said. Do not paraphrase. Whatever you want to speak through annotation, speak through the arrows and the short words, the right words, and do not write, okay, this is a tiffin box, it is going to mean. So that's probably that is what they are expecting from you. Appropriateness of three-dimensional form, visual graphics, provisions of fully functional requirements, considerations of product usability by the user, attention to detail, explanation, clarity of sketch, quality of presentation, uniqueness of design. So over here, I don't think a whole lot of explanation is necessary. This is pretty much the bare minimum, when it comes to doing a product sketch, again, start with a fresh, plain um, rough sheet where you guys are going to thumbnail and iterate, and then of course you guys can add one or two small thumbnails into your final sheet to show that you guys have iterated, you guys have tried out a version or two, right? And then you guys can draw the main sketch, which is going to be clear, clean lines, no hatching, no shading, no shadows required. If you guys want to show surfaces, you guys can use contour lines, basically lines that go along the contour once or twice of the product to show that okay, this is a curve, this is going like this. Please do not try to shade it in. That is very much a bad idea, right? And of course over here again, the main evaluation criteria is the uniqueness of the design. All right, so let's see how to break this down. Lunchbox design. First thing that came to my mind is that it is Indian food, so it is separate till you open it, and after that, everything needs to be mixed up. It's quite unique because if you look at Japanese food, again, everything is separate, but you don't really mix it in, right, while you're eating. Or if you look at some other cuisines like Mexican, it's mixed since the beginning. If you look at a burrito bowl or anything, it's everything's mixed in since the beginning. But Indian food, if you mix it from too early, like from home, it goes bad. You have to like have it separate, and the minute you want to eat, you mix it fresh, but you will mix it. You need space for that mixing if it's North Indian or South Indian, right? And so it's quite, let's say, contrasting with what they've asked for our requirements, because they said that it needs to be fit in a school bag. So we will assume that okay, our requirement is compact, but then again they said Indian food, we need space. So again there's like a little contrast, so we need to think of that. That is our main let's call it a pain point. That's our main pain point, right? Again, there's going to be a mix of liquids and dry fruits. We are going to have a main section that's going to be the carbs, right? And there's going to be always 3 to 5 different items, right? So, and of course, we will have to think of a way to make it spill proof. But again, this is a little girl, so we cannot have one of those crazy containers. You know, like it was one of my core childhood memories. I used to have like a tiffin box that's twice my size. I used to be like a little girl. I used to go up to like the closest akka and be like, please open it for me. So we can't do that because I use as a little girl. So it has to be something that's easy to open, right? So these are the main pain points that I thought of on the top of my head. You guys can think of more, obviously, because you know there is never a finite list of pain points when it comes to designing products, right? So yeah, moving on. Yeah, compact, this kind of style, this is the most typical kind of lunch box that we have. It's compact but not good for mixing, not comfy while eating. You just want to go in there and you're not able to do that even with rice or roti, right? I get really annoyed when people serve me the curry in the bowl, and it it just, I just have the urge to just flip it on the plate. Maybe it's the South Indian part of me, but I usually do that. So you know, we really need more space. That's the whole point. And then I thought about, okay, what about the stackable model? You know, it works, it's something that people have been doing. But then I realized that the main pain point with stackable models is that, first off, little girls and stackable complicated things, it's not going to work out. Second thing, the base is always messy, so unless you have a towel, it's not going to work out. And then again, even though there's a lot of space individually, you don't have space to mix, you don't have space to go in there and eat comfortably, right? And then the most ideal one was like a big casserole kind of tiffin box that's very plate like, you know. I came across this Instagram reel the other day that said that we're all just girls trying to find plates that look like bowls and bowls that look like plates. And as a product designer, that really hit me. I was like, yes, that is the most ideal kind of dish, or I mean, ideal kind of vessel to eat your food in, especially as an Indian. And then I was like, okay, fine. How about a plate-like form, And it was perfect. It was almost perfect, except for the fact that there's no way a little girl is going to carry this in her backpack all the way to school and come back. It's not portable. It's not easy to eat. And then it hit me, the most easy way you can, portably carry Indian food and have it, and then, easily wrap things up, literally wrap things up. I got inspired by our podichor. So basically, for those of you who don't know, this is a staple in Kerala where we have the rice on the banana leaf with all the other things, and those are all bound in their individual banana leaf packets, and the big one is bound together. You carry it, you eat it, you dispose it. So that was my main concept, some kind of disposable tiffin box system. So again, I went a little different from what the normal thought would be, but I still haven't broken any of the rules, right? I still haven't gone against anything that the question has intended me to do. So that's how you're in the right place. So let's ideate. So these are a few of the disposable. Let's fold it, and it's all separate, but it's lightweight, it's portable, it fits in a bag. Kind of iterations with different types of food, not just Indian, right? So this was quite interesting. And yeah, ideally one of these would evolve into a full-fledged product. So my point here is not to make the best tiffin box, but to show you guys that all right, this is the best way to approach this question. So yeah, if you look here, there's one flap kind of opening, and there is the Chinese takeout style, and there's a little bit of origami that has been explored, right? But over here, you guys can see how the annotation has gone. There's better ways to annotate actually. So if you look here, when I talked about the arrows, this is what I meant. There's a small squiggly arrows that's giving small little notes, and if there's some kind of motion, you're using a big arrow in the shape or the form of the motion. And let's say that I want to talk about a little bit of little detail in more magnified sense, like a hinge or something, then draw a small circle, pull it out, draw it in a bigger way, and you guys can annotate that as well. So these are the ways that you communicate in a more effective manner. And if you look at the top left area, there the iterations, or top three of your ideations have been communicated as well. And if you look at this particular sketch, there's not a lot of excessive shading. There is vertical parallel hatching. That's the maximum. That's the darkest tone you guys are going to go, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and I'm really excited for the people that have attempted this question. I mean, attempted this entire question paper. So, people who have and are watching this, you guys can always, let us know how you guys approach this, and how you guys broke it down, and what your ideas were, and we can always have a discussion on that. So just like let us know. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this session. Thank you so much. See you again for maybe the next paper, or another past paper, or NIFT, Uceed, or NID. All right. See you guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.